Hey, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Your Miami Hurricanes victorious today, 42-14 over the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. A nice bounce back for the Miami Hurricanes, but probably the most important thing out of this game, a great bounce back for the Miami Hurricanes defense in a game that probably started a little frustrating for the Canes fan, thinking, oh boy, here we go again, because first two possessions, Miami gets on the board. They march right down the field. They get on a 7-0 lead, and then you get 3rd and 11, and Damon Claiborne, he gets a first down run, and then they just start, carving the Canes up, and then there's a blown coverage where Micah Mays is wide-ass open down the field, and you're just thinking to yourself, here we go. Like, this is going to be one of those nights where things are not going to go the Canes' way. Next drive happens. The Canes are marching down. You get a big play to Jacoby George. Looks like the Canes have a touchdown, but then you have a pass interference called against Miami, so they have to settle for 3. And then this is where the defense really decided to take their stand, because Wake Forest kept the ball a hell of a long time into the second quarter of this game. It was a little bit like the Dolphins game last week, where basically it felt like each team had the ball twice and the clock was going away. And on a 2nd and 16, Meech Powell, who is, they've needed a big play from, they haven't had it in a while. He comes after the quarterback and is basically just given a football gift right away, all the way to the house, and Miami goes up 17-7. And you're just like, oh my God, finally, the defense has come out here. They have made a play. They have put Miami up 10 in a place where it looked like they were about to either give up a tie or possibly give up the lead. And you just don't know what the angst is going to be there for that. But Meech Powell showed up with a monster play, and really what would be a tone changer for the defense. Now, Wake Forest would come right back, and this was a crazy play, because right after the pick 6 to the house, 77 yards, Claiborne takes a kickoff return, a hundy to the house. But this was about the last impact play that he would make, and I don't know what happened to the star of Wake Forest. I don't know if he, because it was not a hot day down here in South Florida. It was I'm sure for guys at Wake Forest, they're coming down here, this is like vacation weather. And then for everybody who's a South Floridian, this is like the cool part of the season. But he takes us to the house, and they replay it coming back, and he is puking his guts out as he's brought back to the locker room. But yeah, man, that was crazy. He ends up taking it to the house, and then he starts puking his guts out, and he really wasn't the same from then after. There was at one point he went to the locker room, but a guy who definitely looked like he made an impact on this game early for the Demon Deacons, it was not the same after this. Was not the same at all. Unfortunately, the Miami Hurricanes were taking their sweet-ass time to take advantage of this, because you ended up getting a really bad turnover from Cam Ward, where he throws this just shovel pass. He tries to do that Houdini stuff that Cam Ward we've become so used to seeing from him, throwing it to Elijah Roy. He does a no-look, and it's just picked off by Wake Forest. So, that was certainly disappointing. The Miami Hurricanes really felt like if they would have taken that Meech Powell thing, would have taken momentum, and this could have been an easy day at the office. And it really wasn't. Because the offense just never really could get out of gear. And so I guess you could look at this two ways for the Miami Hurricanes, right? Because on the one side of things, this is a Wake Forest team. They've had a lot of games where they've given up a lot of points, and you did end up getting a lot of points in this game. You ended up putting some window dressing on it. On the other side of things, they really, after a rough first drive where the Demon Deacons were marching downfield, and really a couple back-to-back, after they got that pick 6, the defense was here to stay. The defense had, just a tremendous performance against Wake Forest, and just seemed to keep, be coming up with big time play after big time play. But after that holding, they go 3 and out. Like I said, they lost Claiborne. The Canes get the ball back. It's 17-10 right before halftime. and the Canes are marching down the field. Cam finds a beautiful pass to Elijah Arroyo, who had a monster day at the office for the Miami Hurricanes. He was tremendous. 6 catches, 79 yards for the Canes tight end. He was really, really great. But this was something that really drove Cam Ward nuts, because in the as the Canes get all the way down, they get it to Arroyo down to a 1st and goal. All of a sudden, dude on the Demon Deacons, he pulls up lane with the old hamstring cramp injury. Very clearly faking it. Very clearly a fake injury. Haven't seen something that bad since Arkansas State did the old fake trust fall against the Miami Hurricanes. It was blatant. And Cam Ward was pissed about it. Called him out afterwards. Called him out after the game about faking the injury. It was bad. He called it after the game. His words were weak. And I agree. Like, look, the Miami Hurricanes ended up having to settle for a field goal, and they'd go into the half up 6. But it did feel very much like, look, credit, I guess, to Wake Forest for bull bleeping their way to slow the Canes train, because they were moving down. But that was horse bleep. That was really, really bad. I don't know what college football does about this. You know, they do so much to stop these games time in and time out. So I'm not one who wants to have another stoppage, because college football goes slow enough as it is with all the TV timeouts and all that stuff. But when we spend 900 minutes just like, is that targeting? Is this not targeting? We got to start putting our detective caps on when it comes to faking of the injuries. It was a really, really bad look. So Wake Forest would come out of the half. The Canes are up 6. And this is really like, I mean, man, offenses were sputtering. This was a Dave Wannstedt special of like punts back and forth. Wake Forest, they would go 3 and out. Meech Powell nearly had another interception. Cam Ward just wasn't as sharp. Like, if you were looking for a game that you're like, hey, this is his Heisman case, I definitely can't say this was, I don't think it's a game that hurt his candidacy, but I don't think that it vaults him anywhere. I think that he probably left a lot of meat on the bone, especially with how long it really took the Canes to get going. And honestly, once the offense did, it was really relying on the run game. Jordan Lyle had a tremendous performance, especially in the second half. That dude was running fools over. He'd end up finishing with a game high for Miami, 7 carries, 115 yards. He's averaging over 16 yards a carry in this game, had a touchdown. And he really took it to Wake Forest. I mean, he was running hard. He was running over fools. He was awesome. But as I said, while it wasn't Cam Ward's strongest day at the office, the positive side of this for the Canes was the defense looked great. And you think about, I think probably their biggest stand came after the Miami Hurricanes get the ball back after getting 3 and out, and Xavier Restrepo fumbles it. And so at this point, you're thinking to yourself, man, the Canes 2 stars. This season's really been defined by 2 people: Cam Ward, Xavier Restrepo. Senior day, Restrepo, long time, came in his last game at Hard Rock Stadium, and he has this awful fumble, and him and Cam just couldn't seem to get on the same page today up to this point. And you're just thinking, man, I can't believe this, because every time that Wake Forest gets the ball back, they have a chance to go get the lead. You're only up 6. Then you have then you had really what I thought was just probably the biggest stand of the game from the defense, because Meech Powell got a big sack, then you get another big sack. They were going for it, then went a false start, and they were forced to punt. So they went from a situation, because Wake Forest was going to a place where they were certainly they were going into 4-down territory early in this game. And Miami knew that they were going to have to be on the field. They were going to have to make their plays. You know, that slow mesh, annoying-ass offense that was being effective early on in this game. But, yeah, it was something. But that stand after the fumble to get those sacks from Powell and Moten was absolutely huge. Was absolutely huge. Now, the Canes didn't do anything with that. The ball ended up getting punted inside their own 5. Cam gets batted at the line. Then the field doesn't even gets flipped. It's a bad punt. So that's the end of the third quarter. You go into the fourth, and who was there but Ruben Bain with a monster sack. They go for it on 4th and 3, and Ruben Bain was there to absolutely just smoke Bachmeier, and it was it was huge. Guy's named Hank Bachmeier. Like it reminds me of it's like the King of the Hill QB. It reminds me of Hank Hill, but Boomhauer as his best friend. So really, really great job by them. The Canes defense just showed up time and time again. They really, really did. And finally, in the midst of the fourth quarter, Canes force a punt. And I was actually texting with my boy Steve on this one. I'm like, man, after the Canes were just couldn't get anything going really in the pass game, felt like it was one of those times that they just needed to lean on the run game. And who was there? Mark Fletcher. Busts one, brings it all the way inside the 15-yard line for the Miami Hurricanes. They get it all the way down to the goal line thanks to Damian Martinez. And then Cam Ward keeps it himself, goes into the end zone for his first time getting in the end zone on the day. They go over the 2-point conversion. Elijah Arroyo, that was good. Canes go up by 14 at that point. And then Claiborne, who, again, just never the same ever since his kickoff return, he fumbles the kickoff this time. Miami gets it right back, and Jordan Lyle goes it right up the gut for an 18-yard touchdown 2 plays later, puts the Canes up 21, 35-14 on this one, and he ends up flexing over the defender, and he gets an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, but Michael Irvin loved it. I mean, he was just, they go right to Michael Irvin, and Michael, yeah, that's approved. Like, if you get the playmaker's approval, even if Cristobal yells at you later, you can't be too mad because Michael Irvin is loving it at the end. So, the Canes at this point seem like they got this puppy wrapped up. The Deacons get the ball back. They go for it on 4th and 1. Canes stuff them, get the ball back, and the Miami Hurricanes would head towards Coverville. Lyle busts a monster run again, puts the old truck stick, run fools over, get inside the red zone, and Cam Ward to find Jacoby George for their second hookup of the day. Canes would go up 42-18, and that would be all she wrote. Your Miami Hurricanes win this one, a 10-win season, 10-1. They, of course, have a big one coming up against Syracuse, and yeah, Cam Ward ends up finishing the day 27-38, 280, 2 touchdowns throwing, 1 pick, a really bad one, and then also ran one in for a touchdown. So 3 total touchdowns on the day for Cam Ward. Like I said, not his best day at the office. Certainly, I think that this game was more impressive for Miami on the run game and what they got from Martinez, from Fletcher, and then certainly from Jordan Lyle in this one. But the big story for, I think, everybody is the defense, to flip this game on its head and really carry Miami in this one. They needed one like that because, you get 2 big turnovers from your star quarterback and your star receiver. You were going to need something from them, and they got it. So that was all she wrote. Miami has a date with Syracuse to close things up and stamp their ticket to the ACC championship, 3:30 next week on ESPN. And credit to the defense for getting this one done. Right now, I'm looking around at the scoreboard. Ohio State took care of Indiana. Florida upset Ole Miss. So Florida's got a couple of upset wins back-to-back weeks, which obviously makes Miami's win look all that better. SMU, they won easily over Virginia, 33-7. I believe that clinches their appearance in the ACC championship game. So they will get a chance to await the Miami Hurricanes in this one. So, yeah, SMU, it'll be Rhett Lashley. Hopefully the Canes will be facing their former offensive coordinator along the way. They have Cal next week. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty damn good bounce back for Miami. Outside of a big special teams gaffe, the defense, tremendous today. Obviously, the offense has to clean those things up. got superhero Cam Ward. Did not exactly have his magic this game like he has in past games. I think that's okay. And certainly I think was annoyed by Wake Forest and their gimmickry that allowed them to slow up a Miami Hurricanes drive. But they put this one together, man. I thought it was important for the defense to have a game like this, and because I think ultimately, like with these last couple of games, you have a Syracuse team that can then light it up a little bit. You're going on the road. That's not an easy one. And so you just had to have some kind of confidence. I have confidence Cam Ward can bounce back. We know that the run game has its capabilities. I just think it was one of those weird sleepy nooners, not necessarily as sharp as you need to be on offense, but man, the Canes needed to know that was there ever going to be a time where the defense could pick them up, and that was today's game. So that was the important side of things.